Can we agree that social media quite often is just a cesspool of snark?
Unequivocally, yes.
When you made these comments about Senator McConnell and Senator Graham and Senator Collins, what job were you in at the time?
Senator, I made the comments in my personal capacity as a private citizen, but I was at the Department of Justice. And
You're in White House counsel's office now, right?
since May of last year, yes.
But you didn't make them while you were working for President Trump?
No.
You were at Justice?
Well, technically, Department of Justice is an executive agency, but I was at the Department of Justice.
Yeah. I try not to read social media too much. One of my colleagues in my office one time, they know to bring to me any really cool cuts that somebody said about me on social media. Probably the coolest one they brought to me, somebody said one time, "Kennedy, you look exactly like my second wife." I said, I thought that was a very cool cut. You are an expert in international trade law?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about the Supreme Court opinion in Learning Resources v. Trump.
Yes, Senator, that's the commonly referred to as the IEPA Supreme Court case, and it came out, I think now we're coming up on about a month ago. In that opinion, the Supreme Court held that President Trump did not have the authority to use IEPA using the words regulate, ellipses, importation to impose tariffs. And the Supreme Court declared that the tariffs that the president had imposed under IEPA were unlawful.
And what is the major legal doctrine that underpins the decision?
Well, the president had used IEPA during peacetime, but in terms of the doctrine itself, he'd relied on IEPA for the authority to impose tariffs. But the majority had said that essentially the clear text said that the president did not have that authority.
It was the major questions doctrine, was it not?
Well, the major questions doctrine, Senator, 3, so a plurality of the justices said that part of another reason why the president did not have the authority to impose the tariffs was due to the major questions doctrine. In other words, that this body had not essentially, for something of such political and economic significance, had not delegated the president the authority to impose tariffs pursuant to IEPA.
Yeah, that's the major questions doctrine, right?
Yes, Senator.
Okay. All right, I've got a minute or so left here. We can cover it in a minute. Mr. Rikhye, is that how you say your name, sir?
Yes, Senator.
Tell me about the war powers clauses.
Well, Senator, the war powers clauses require
Clauses are they? Or which articles of the Constitution are they?
well, the War Powers Act was an act of Congress.
I'm sorry, I didn't phrase my question right. Not the War Powers Act, the War Powers clauses. Let's start with which articles of the Constitution are involved.
That would be in Article 1, giving Congress the authority to declare war.
And what else?
Well, and then Congress also has the authority or the responsibility to fund whatever military actions are being.
And the president has a role to play, doesn't he?
He does. The president is the commander in chief of the armed
what
forces.
article?
That would be Article 2.
Okay. In 24 seconds, how do you reconcile that only Congress can declare war? Doesn't say make war, it says declare war, but the president is commander in chief. What did our founders intend?
I think it goes along with the whole concept kind of underpinning the entire constitutional system we have of divided government, powers split between the different branches. And so I think there was an inherent tension built into that, just as there is in many different areas of our federal government.
Okay. Ladies, I'm sorry I didn't get to you. Senator Blumenthal, I believe you're up.
Thank you.